Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about buying your primary home. So one thing that I always credit women for is that they're very social creatures. And so what they tend to do is they won't buy a house just because it's big, but they're going to look at the location that it's in. They're going to look at the community that it's in, right? Whereas a man might look for um, the best and biggest home for what he can afford. And that tends to be in the worst location, the biggest and best house, right? Because that's the most bang for your buck. Whereas someone else is going to look at an average home in the best location possible that can actually appreciate and rise with the other homes within that market. So here's another thing to think about. If you buy the best house on the block, every other house is going to sell for less. So when it comes time for you to sell your property, you're selling it based on the comps of all the other homes that are selling for much less because they're not as high quality as your home. Whether that be in the best neighborhood or the worst neighborhood, you having the best house, you don't actually know what the value is of that home because it's going to be priced at the value of all those lesser homes, right? So when you don't have the best house on the block and then the best house on the block sells, that raises the property value of all the other lesser homes because the biggest and beautifulest house has just sold. And that might have 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, and you might just very well have a 4 bedroom, 3 bath. And you might say, see, this house sold for this much. I command this much as well. And so you can have a lesser home sell for a comparable amount compared to that beautiful home just based on having the same amount of bedrooms and the same amount of bathrooms in the same neighborhood, which is unbelievable, right? So having the best house on the block can sometimes be a detriment to you because you won't be able to maximize the potential out of that home. Whereas someone with a lesser home can always maximize, upgrade, or do whatever they can to get comparable value for that other home on the block. So again, when looking at your primary residence, typically people buy their first home around 27 to 35 years of age. Really is in their early 30s that they purchased their first home. And with that being said, they're typically going into it looking for stability with their partner or even family. With that being said, you're going to look at the schools in the area, again, communities in the area, location. You don't want a place that's not safe, right? And then in turn, that is going to allow for more growth within that community, more maintenance, care, more togetherness within the community. And then with all of that being said, the homes will appreciate in value over time. And that allows you to, again, be able to move if need be. You're buying a primary residence if you plan to stay within that market for 3 to 5 years at the very minimum. That is going to allow you to gain some equity within the home. So when interest rates go up like it is right now, you still have a safety net. You still have cash equity within the home that you can tap into, or when you sell, you're not selling without any type of cash to go and find another property at a different location or wherever you tend to go. So it's very ideal to at least spend 5 to 7 years in that location. So if you have a job that requires you to move constantly, like a military vet, or if you are someone who is constantly looking for the highest income and you're willing to travel for it, buying a primary residence at this time may not be the best and suitable option for you unless you're able to get comparable rents within that area for the home that you're looking to purchase. When you're buying a home that is 500,000, 700,000, or even $1 million worth, it may not be beneficial to purchase a primary residence if you do believe that you're going to move every so often. Now, if you're buying a home of, I don't know, 300,000 or less, especially if they're duplexes or multifamily units, then it may be beneficial for you to purchase now, live in the home, and then when you're ready to move, you can still do that and rent the units out and turn a profit and cash flow and get your management team in place and all those other things. So with that being said, there are a lot of options out there to be utilized, especially if you're starting a family for the first time. You may not want to go with the single family route. You might want to go with a duplex or a multi-family unit of a comparable cost, because if you're just having one child or two children, you can grow into that home, and once you grow out of it, you can rent it out completely and buy a bigger structure. Now you're getting paid from that multifamily unit after living there 3-4 years, and you now have the best home for you with your growing family, which may be a lot better than the home you would have purchased 4 years ago, and then still have been moving out of that single family home because your family has grown significantly bigger, right? So now you have the option of getting that income increase from your jobs, the income increase from rents going up, and then when you rent out that multifamily property completely and you have the higher income, you can now purchase a home for your tax bracket and put your growing family in the best position. You might buy that second property and never have to move again because you've purchased a property for that growing family, knowing the rate of which your family is growing, knowing what it takes to build, maintain a home, knowing what costs are associated with it. And this is not your first experience now. This is your second experience together as a family, which gives you more knowledge at your disposal, which is going to help you to make the right decisions the second time around. This is an all-around benefit to you and your family because now you're more knowledgeable in the process. You're less emotional about purchasing a home, and you have the option of staying in your multifamily unit if you so choose. And so there is no stress or pressure for you to move through with any process. I think that this provides for the best and most optimal position as a buyer. And it allows you the most flexibility in terms of how much cash you'll have on hand, how much liquid assets, how much, equity you would have. And if you do decide to sell the multifamily unit while purchasing your new single family structure, you will have a lot more income to put towards a down payment and preferably have a similar mortgage payment to what you were paying 4 or 5 years ago for a much bigger and spacious environment and home for your family. So those are the things that you should definitely take into account when looking at a primary residence. A primary residence is not necessarily an investment like a multifamily unit, but it is something that allows you to grow memories, allows you to, put your family in a structured environment, a stable environment, an environment where you're not stressed out about a rental increase. You do have to worry about property taxes going up, insurance going up, things like that. However, you are now in control of where that money is getting paid to, rather than a landlord is getting paid to you, which is making you and your family much more wealthy every single month. And that is the first, not the first step, but a step into financial freedom. And so when you look at it that way, it's super, super beneficial to take advantage of the knowledge that you can get from this channel and apply that into finding a primary residence that is best suitable for you if you're single, or for your family if you have a partnership or a marriage or children. So thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.